Welcome back to Rise and Tell with Sheekha. I am Sheekha Singh, your host and author. I have got something special to share. My brand new book, Unburnable Ambition, How Overachievers Win Without Burning Out, is coming on Jan 5th, 2026. This book is for all of us who dream big but refuse to let burnout be the price. If you'd like early chapter, preview, and launch bonuses, head to sheekasingh.com/unburnable ambition and sign up today. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. I am Sheekha Singh. I hope you guys had a wonderful new year. This episode is going to be different. And yes, you guessed it right. I'm going to talk about my book, Unburnable Ambition, why I wrote this book, and who it is for. You know how when you're growing up, when you come from certain cultures, you always have this bag of expectations, especially when you were a bright child, or you were one of those people who always used to get things done, who would always excel at studies or sports or other co-curricular activities, and everybody around you would say, oh, you're going to do something great. You are going to do something amazing. You are going to be someone someday. Well, that's the reason why I wrote Unburnable Ambition. Not many realize that that same ambition that drives us also causes burnout. I know there are a lot of books on burnout out there, but there's nothing from an immigrant point of view and nothing that talks about how ambition drives you to burnout, and you don't even have a clue on how this happens. I know a lot of people talk about hustle, productivity, and there's so many hacks and apps, motivation quotes. I used to be one of those people. I had all the productivity apps. I had a checklist. I had tons of to-do lists. I had yearly, quarterly lists. I had so many quotes pinned on the computer, on the wall. I would have it on the sticky notes. But then I realized that all of this doesn't matter if it's going to affect your body and if it's affecting your mental health and everybody around you. And the reason is because you are highly ambitious or overachiever, or you have this drive inside you to do so much all the time. Unburnable Ambition was born from burnout. I did not even know that I was undergoing burnout. And it's not the dramatic kind that everybody talks about when you listen about burnout. I didn't have any panic attack. I didn't have anxiety attack. But it was that feeling where you think you're not doing enough, but at the same time, you're doing too much. It's that feeling where you feel like everything's going to collapse overnight. And it's that feeling where you're sitting up late at night thinking, what am I even doing, even though I'm doing a lot? And this is the quiet kind of the burnout. The kind where you're still performing, you're still doing everything, you're still achieving, you think you're killing it, but you're smiling and you know that that smile is fake. And I wrote this book because I couldn't find one like it and I needed it. I wish someone had given this book to me 2 years ago. And that's why I wanted this in the market. Most books on burnout have two things. Either you hate the job or you don't work hard enough. But for me, it was different. I loved my job. I loved everything. I was doing multiple things, having multiple projects. But this just made me overly ambitious and exhausted. What if you love growth, but what if it's costing you your health, your creativity, and your peace? So I wanted someone to read this book and go, oh, you know what? Okay, my ambition doesn't have to kill me from inside. My ambition or my drive to be perfect as a mom, as a wife, as a manager, as a leader, as, a writer or a creator, it doesn't have to be torturous. I can be grateful. I can do my stuff, enjoy it without complaining about it, and have a sustainable system. Burnout for people like us doesn't feels like failure because you're thinking, oh, what did I do wrong? I thought I was doing everything correct. I was working out. I was killing it at my job. I was being a great person. I was maintaining relationships. I was having a social life. I was focusing on fitness and all of these things, but somewhere down the line, ambition and what you want to do kind of feels like a responsibility because that's what you've been taught since you were growing up. So let me be very clear about what this book is not. It's not a self-help book. It's not a, oh, quit your job and move to Bali kind of a book. It's not manifest harder kind of a book. And it's not a soft, aesthetic self care book. You will not find a morning routine that tells you to wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I'm not going to give you any affirmations in this book, and there's no motivation. I'm not even going to try to shrink your ambition with this book. I am going to teach you how to protect it with this book. I want you to learn how to say no after you read this book. I want you to learn that it's okay to not be productive 365 days of the year. And I want you to draw boundaries and to protect your peace and your strength and focus only on things that you love, that you want to achieve, that are your goals. And so that you can be 100% satisfied when your passion is driving you forward and not just this hustle mode or this grind mode that you are in constantly all the time. This book walks through how passion turns into pressure, why productivity became my identity. And I'm not proud of it, but how money and how success defines most of the ambition that most of us have. Why systems work, why they don't work, and why everybody who reads this book needs systems in place, not just any system, but sustainable systems and the actual real willpower to reflect and find out, okay, I'm actually burning out. This is really not working. Yes, I want to be the best. Yes, I want to be great at what I do, but this is costing me. I've added multiple real stories. I've incorporated things from my podcast. All the guests that have been on the podcast had something to share with me, and I've taken some of the snippets that I have learned that are close to my heart and mentioned in this book because that helped me. And my hope is that those snippets from the podcast episodes and the incredible guests that I had will help you too. It has some cultural context too, especially the immigrant pressure. And there's some hard truths that I wasn't ashamed to mention in the book. And they're actually practical tips that you can apply in your day-to-day life, regardless of who you are, what you do, and where you are. I don't have like a solid list where I say, oh, this is a 10-step plan or a 4-step plan. No, they're just simple, basic tips that you can follow. For example, to protect your peace, if you're not feeling it that day, but you know you want to do this for your project, maybe just say no to one event or say no to a weekend plan or don't do anything on a weekend. So things like that, you are going to be thinking about a new definition of success. What success means to you and language for the burnout. So you start seeing the patterns. Like you will be able to realize that, okay, yes, I am being burned out. I am pushing myself to be someone I'm not. Why? I want you to find out the reason why. For me, it was the expectations and the comments from people, the reviews, the feedback. I took everything personally, and that's what drove me to burnout. That's what drove me to being overly ambitious at certain points in my life. And I want you to give yourself permission to rest without any guilt. That's what I teach in Unburnable Ambition. You are going to have a clarity. It's a very simple 100-page read. You do you take your time to read, but the tips that I have in this book after each chapter are going to actually make you think on what you want to do, how you want to do it without getting burnt out. And I'm not going to say that this book is going to fix you, but at least my hope is that it can give you some clarity on what you need in your life as an adult. My goal when I was writing this book was I wanted someone to pick up this book from an airport bookstore and then finish it in a 2 to 3 hour flight. So the language that I've used in the book is pretty simple, pretty easy. I have quoted a lot of different articles and research that I've done for this book, from being an immigrant, from moving to different places, from everything. It's a mixture of my personal experience plus some amazing, well researched articles. It speaks to people who were taught that rest is laziness. I'm not going to tell you that you need to disappear to succeed. I'm going to tell you that you need to find alignment. And first, you need to know what your definition of success is. Now, you're going to ask me, okay, Sheekha, why should I pick up your book? And is this really for me? This book is for you if you're ambitious but tired. You are productive but you're disconnected. Yes, you're working 8 hours a day. You have a to-do list. You're waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning. You have your routine down. But somewhere down the line, you're like, okay, where am I? Why exactly am I doing this? And what am I getting out of it? And then this is for people who are scared to slow down because everything around you is feeling fragile right now. Unburnable Ambition is an invitation to stop glorifying burnout, to stop performing all the time, and to stop waiting for permission. You don't need to be fixed. You're awesome the way you are. You need to come back to yourself. You need to start defining what success looks like for you. And if this resonates, I hope you read this book. I hope you rest well while you're reading this book. And I hope this gives you at least an idea of what burnout might look like for you. It can be different for everybody. You might not even know you are burning out like I did. And so this one is for you. You can find the book Unburnable Ambition, How Overachievers Win Without Burning Out, now on Amazon and all other major platforms. You can download the Kindle version of it or you can order the paperback. Thank you so much for joining me in this journey. I have some amazing, amazing things lined out for you for this year. And I'm going to leave you the same way like I do always. Keep growing, keep glowing, and be yourself. This is your host, Sheekha Singh, signing off. Bye. Thank you for tuning in for today's episode of Rise and Tell with Sheekha. My upcoming book, Unburnable Ambition, is all about how to chase your biggest goals without losing yourself to burnout. You can now sign up at sheekhasingh.com/unburnableambition for early access and launch updates.